you watch, y'all got a treat today. We about to, some of y'all may be watching this for the first time. This is my first time watching the video all the way through. Somebody sent it to me earlier. I got like 2 minutes in. I was laughing so hard. I said, oh no, man, I got to bring the family along for this one. I can't watch this by myself because it's not as fun watching it by myself. I got to watch it with y'all because we all about to have a good laugh together. So this is going to be another learning experience in debunking Anna and Emma with common sense and a 2-minute Google search. I'm sure this is basically what this is about to be, because basically if you've ever done legitimate research on anything Anna or Emma have ever said, it can all be debunked in less than 2 minutes with a Google search. And that's saying something considering how hard Google works to suppress actual information. So even with all the suppression of actual good information that you can learn from, it still only takes 2 minutes to debunk Anna and Emma. But hey, let's do it. Let's get started.
Things from a more libertarian perspective, so it's fascinating to see how he frames questions about various political issues and how she answers them. Now we're going to start off with a clip about how much Gabriel loves the country. Take a look.
I had Glenn here a couple days ago, and he said he didn't even know that you, because this just happened in the last day or so.
Yeah.
But he said, I disagree with almost everything, but it's very obvious she loves this country. And I think one of the things happening for sort of not progressive, but sort of, and then pretty much everyone, right, is they're watching the Democratic candidates, and there's this sense that they don't really love the country, like fundamentally historically awful or some version of that. But
Does it sound too low for you guys? Give me a second. I'm gonna adjust that for you because y'all need to hear all this. Give me a second. Let me get that done for you. I know some people said it's too low. Here's what we gonna do. Don't worry, y'all. I got you. Don't even worry about it. Let's see if this helps.
Loves this country. And I think one of the things that's happening for sort of mainstream liberals, let's say not progressive, but sort of old school liberals, and then pretty much everyone on the right, is they're watching the candidates, the Democratic candidates, and there's this sense that they don't really love the country. Like they really think it's so fundamentally broken or wrong or historically awful or some version of that, but that doesn't come across with you.
I'm unabashed. I'm unabashed in my love for our country. It's what's motivated, these major decisions that I've made with what I want to do with my life.
And I retweeted one of your last tweets, which was like a 30-second clip where you talked about freedom and liberty and things like that. I love all those words, but those words now have been really associated with the right and not with Democrats. Do you find it odd that, right in there's a giant American flag in my control room and all of those things, and I've got the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence in there. Like, do you find it odd that it seems that Democrats aren't embracing?
Let me just say, okay, Dave, we get it. You love the country, Jesus Christ. You need some more Koch brothers funding. Look, you only got half of the brothers left, so you better get on your knees and start groveling. But Jesus Christ, we get it. You need libertarian funding. You're begging for it. We got it. Enough. Just the question, please. Thank you. Oh man, hold up. What just happened? There we go.
Embracing those things, there's a weird running from them.
I'm disheartened by it because of all of those who have sacrificed for our freedoms.
A lot of different things to touch on there, but the framing of Rubin's question is the top issue for me.
Hold up. Before we even get into this video, hold up. Wait a minute. Y'all, I know she did not. That was what this part of the segment is about to be about. So you listen, I just told y'all, right? Emma just interviewed Elizabeth Warren, where Elizabeth Warren basically said she's not going to be any different than the rest of the military-industrial complex and the foreign policy establishment. And instead of covering something as important as that, because let's make no mistake about it, there is a very good chance that Elizabeth Warren is about to be president of the United States. Oh no, excuse me, the Democratic nominee, not the president. She ain't gonna beat Trump. But instead of covering that, we're covering the framing of Dave Rubin's questions. A guy we know is a shill. I don't think anybody has made the suggestion otherwise. Not any legitimate progressives have ever made the suggestion that Dave Rubin is anything but. We know he takes coke money. We know he's not to be taken seriously. We put him in the same category as Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro. Like anyone with common sense, knows damn well that Dave Rubin is a shill. So I thought that we were about to cover Tulsi's answer, because I thought like maybe she said something crazy, and I'm waiting for the cliffhanger, and Anna stops the clip to talk about the framing of Dave Rubin's question. Out of all the important things to discuss in this world, with that 4 million subscriber network, with that $20 million Katzenberg money, sweet baby Jesus, we're in for a wild ride, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue.
Because the way he framed that was, progressives don't love America. Do you agree? And basically said yes.
And she took.
No. See, that's there goes Anna. Actually, the framing of his question, the problem was all the ass kissing that he did. The framing of his question specifically is, why are you all of a sudden trying to conflate all Democrats with progressives, when I would even make the argument that most progressives are not actually Democrat. If they are Democrat, it's because they may have been forced to register to vote in a primary where they can actually win something in a closed primary state. Most progressives are not Democrats at all. I know damn sure I'm not one. So once again, this is Anna picking and choosing what she want to listen to, but let's continue. Let's talk about the more of the framing of the question. That's so important right now. Okay.
And remember, she's positioning herself as a progressive candidate. So
positioning is a good word for it.
Positioning is the correct word for it, because you look at her voting record, you look at a lot of other issues, including other snippets from this interview, which we're going to show you later. And she might talk the talk when it's convenient. She certainly doesn't walk the walk, and she does not challenge Rubin on his right-wing, anti-progressive framing in a lot of these questions.
Carmen Ambres, Anna and Image are garbage. Look, don't insult trash cans like that. Come on, that's not fair to them. What do they do? Trash cans already got to be trash. So you gonna group Anna and Emma into them and just completely destroy their reputation? Come on, that's not even cool. So, hold up. Mind you, this is the same Emma and Anna who think Elizabeth Warren is progressive. Not walking the walk. Hold up. Which military budget did Warren vote for? Oh, you don't know? It actually would be a better question to ask which military budget she didn't vote for. There isn't one. There isn't a single military budget she hadn't voted for. Yeah. Which war or conflict or bombing did Warren vote against or even speak out against before she started running for office? Oh, that's right. She didn't. In fact, she actually pushed for war. Hold up. Wasn't it Elizabeth Warren who literally said in an interview that there are demographic realities that Israel has to face, referring specifically to the Palestinian and Arab kids that were being born in Israel and how they have to do something about that? I'm sure that's pretty racist. Just saying. Hold up. Wasn't it Tulsi who left the vice chairwoman position with the DNC to endorse Bernie? And wasn't it Elizabeth Warren who decided, I'm going to meet with Hillary and be vetted for VP instead? I'm going to be VP as a progressive. I'm going to be the VP of a neoconservative administration. Because I'm a fighter. I'm a fight from the inside. Anna and Emma. I mean, oh my god, it's just hilarious to hear them they just say things, and it's like they think we don't have, like, I don't know, the fucking internet, for example, and we can't use things like, you know, the rewind button or the replay button. Like, we can't just go find the shit that you've already said, and the shit that your candidates that you support have already said, and the shit that Tulsi has already said, and like deduce our own conclusions. But hey, let's see how let's go. I'm gonna see how far I can get through this without interrupting again. But Lord, baby Jesus, y'all, I can't deal with these people. I ain't gonna let them ruin my Tuesday though. I ain't gonna let them ruin my Tuesday. I'm having a good Tuesday.
Yeah, and by the way, so loving a country just means never critiquing it, never criticizing it, and showing a blind love and, you know, like just a blind loyalty to it no matter what. Like, it's a fascinating way of putting things. Like, you can love the country, you can be loyal to the country, but you can have issues with how it's run. You can have issues with the history of the country. We're not allowed to find, you know, the genocide of Native Americans questionable in this country's history. We're not allowed to talk about slavery.
It's so interesting that she brings up the genocide of Native Americans, considering that Elizabeth Warren allowed another process of genocide of the Native American people, and they seem to have absolutely no problem with that. But Elizabeth Warren's progressive, Tulsi is not. Don't forget.
We're not allowed to talk about, you know, what it was like before the civil rights era. We're not allowed to talk about what it's like now for a lot of people in disenfranchised groups.
I don't even know what he's talking about when he's
got
talking
fly.
about her.
He's got
a flag. But, like, I mean, to be fair to her in this instance, I don't know what he's talking about that distinguishes her as loving the country more in this right-wing framing than the other candidates. Like, what specifically about her? The fact that she's a veteran? Pete Buttigieg, I can't talk tonight. Pete Buttigieg is a veteran. So what's the difference here? The difference is that she kind of plays both sides when it comes to these kinds of issues. And so when we're talking about progressivism, I don't think it's progressive to not endorse Medicare for all or be a co-sponsor of it when it's first introduced.
That's a whole lie. Did you really just say that, Emma? Oh, sweet baby Jesus. First of all, let's be very clear about something. Tulsi is the only other person in the race who has supported Medicare for all for her entire legislative career. And wait a minute, Emma, I know you did not just say that it's not progressive to not support Medicare for all when it's first introduced. And then out the same mouth, I'm going to use your words, by the way. Weren't you the one who said, I know it sucks that Warren is like waffling on Medicare for all? Like, yeah, it kind of sucks, but like she's still really progressive in other ways. And that was you who said this. That was you. But let's be clear about something once again, and I'm pretty sure Fiorella already debunked your ass. Why she had to, I don't understand, but she already debunked that lie that you tried to tell in that little video where you tried to subliminally diss Fiorella because she called out your little love child, Elizabeth Warren. You and Anna's little white girl love child, Elizabeth Warren. Remember that? We already clarified this for you. Whenever the first time it was introduced would have been Conyers' bill, and Tulsi did. Well, she couldn't have voted because it never got actually brought to a vote. But for Jayapal's bill, she did vote for it. What are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? And oh yeah, that's right. Elizabeth Warren literally still isn't for Medicare for all. When are we going to have that segment of y'all bitching about all the things that Elizabeth? Oh, that's right. That's because they can't make a segment of how horrible Elizabeth Warren actually is because Anna is too busy making excuses for how horrible Warren did in her little segment, quote unquote, no filter, which is literally the most filtered nonsense we've ever heard. It's a filter, all right. The neoliberal light filter. But hey, Warren's progressive. Okay. David Harris, thanks for the super chat. Can you do a story on Bernie's campaign manager and foreign policy advisor in their connection to Neera Tanden? David, I'm thinking about doing that. But here's the issue. I don't want to cause unnecessary turmoil in Bernie's campaign. And it's a good, because I'm not saying that what you're saying isn't like important to understand when you're looking at some of the framework or framing of the issues that Bernie has been talking about recently. Because like, admittedly enough, it's been off as far as foreign policy is concerned. But when you start, like the thing about being a political insider, because like basically I'm one of the only few in the independent media world, is that because people know that I'm close to Nina, or I still talk to people in the campaign, or I'm close to Tulsi in their campaign, like they'll take that as an authority, like, oh, Bernie doesn't care, Bernie must know, so therefore Bernie's a bad option. Like, it's a rabbit hole that I don't want to get into or go down until it is absolutely positively necessary. And Faiz has to give me, I mean, if he gives me a reason, then absolutely. He's been towing that line lately. But because of those like Bree, because of people like Nina who come out and make sure that the record is corrected when somebody like Roe, for example, starts going off the deep end, because of people like David Sirota most of the time, I'm kind of letting the campaign and those independent voices in that campaign do the best they can to deal with that situation before I get involved or have somebody on my team get involved or like make an official statement on it. So what you're saying is important, but I don't wanna, that's a rabbit hole, man. It's a can of worms right there, because it's a distraction within the campaign. And I think that we all agree that most of us agree that Bernie has to concentrate on winning this race more than anything else right now. And that includes calling out the rigging, by the way. But he does need to focus on winning the race, and I don't want to be a distraction from that. Thanks for the question, though.
And then sign on to it later when it becomes a presidential talking point. You're planning a run in 2018 and you sign on in 2016, and then your supporters go online and say Elizabeth Warren's the hack when she was a co-sponsor right away. So that's very...
Shoot, that's so weird. Hold up. Elizabeth Warren didn't even say the words Medicare for all until like 4 months ago, whenever Bernie introduced it. And she's like, oh, you co-sponsored it in 2016. I might be mistaken. I really might be. And I don't think I am, but I might be. Didn't Tulsi get like elected around 2013, 2014? Like, I might be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure she got elected around 2013, 2014. When it was first introduced, officially, it was 2016. And Tulsi supported it. And then she supported Jayapal's bill. Oh, and interestingly enough, as a fun fact, the only progressive in the House that I have verified that tried to like kind of double speak on their support of Medicare for all is Roe. Because Roe did support Medicare for all, Jayapal's bill in the House. However, and what a surprise, right? One of the TYT's Justice Democrats, so that's just dandy. But also, he supported what's called Medicare for America, which came out 3 months later. Wonder what kind of video they're gonna do on that one. Probably not one, if we're being honest. But hey, you I don't know why people think that, like, what does Emma think, that she goes on the main show and still lies, that the lies will all of a sudden become true? I'm confused, but whatever.
Very fascinating to me. But keep going. What's your name? Anna?
Oh, damn, throwing me under the bus.
Sorry, I'm so tired.
Well, okay. David, did you want to comment on this before we move on to the next clip?
I'm too busy reading the big, giant blow-up Constitution in the control room.
See, we love the country. We have a giant American flag behind us.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, let's move on to the next topic at hand. And this has to do with immigration. And again, pay close attention to how Dave Rubin frames the question and how Tulsi Gabbard answers.
So immigration, I think there's a general sense that the candidates, the Democrats, are basically trying to outdo each other for open borders, something like that. A, do you think that's a fair way to start the question? And B, where do you sit on that?
I don't support open borders. Without secure borders, we don't really have a country. I think there's a few things that we've got to do when we're talking about immigration reform. One is we've got to have secure borders. This is not Trump's wall from sea.
This is
not juggling.
Oh Lord.
Misdirection.
So I'm gonna let that ad play. Damn it, TYT out here getting money off of me, y'all. So that's actually a good place to let the ad play. So while that's playing, this is actually what I had heard about the most from when I was on Twitter. And I kind of laughed at first whenever I heard people getting upset about that. Like, why didn't she challenge Dave Rubin's framing? And I was kind of trying to understand why people made the issue so much about framing, because I knew I had heard that talking point somewhere before. And now I know, considering that this entire video, which is why I guess it was sent to me, has been about the way Dave Rubin phrases questions or frames questions. Like, we know he frames things in this right-wing shiltastic way. Now, what I do agree with, however, is that he is correct. The Democrats that are candidates have been trying to pretend like they are pushing for open borders or something to that effect. Something like that, as quote unquote. And for anybody who is saying that they're not, well, come here, let me learn you something real quick. So, there is this rhetorical technique that most politicians use. And what they do is, let's just take Medicare for All for a good example. This is the best example because this is what we see literally every day. Elizabeth Warren, Kamala, Beto, all of them. They want, because how popular Bernie made the idea of Medicare for All, they know that at least at the very back of the voters' mind, they have to be for universal health care, guaranteed health care. So what do they say? They use these phrases like access to affordable health care. They say things like health care is a right. Some even go as far as saying, I support Medicare for all. That's what some go as far as to say. Not all of them. Some even, well, in Warren and Kamala's, and I think Booker's case, they even signed Bernie's bill, even though they knew it wasn't going to get passed. That's why they signed it. But what they do is they say everything but, or is a caveat. So when they get asked the question again later, like, remember with CNN where Kamala went on, healthcare is a right. I believe in I believe in Medicare for all, but guess what that caveat is? Mine is Medicare for some or whatever. I can't remember what the hell her Medicare for America, is that what it was called? That she said during the debate. Turned out it was something completely different, right? But she knew that if she started out the gate by saying that she wasn't clearly for Medicare for all, she would have dropped in the polls. It would have been no chance for her to win. Just like if she came out the gate saying, well, I may not be taking corporate lobbyist money officially, but I'm going to have some bundlers bundle me some corporate lobbying money, which is what she did. Her and Cory Booker got caught doing it. So what they do is they try to use these loose terms and this loose interpretation, like, oh, I'm for access to affordable health care. So they can try and convey the idea that they're for Medicare for all. But when they're asked, they always get to double back because that's the popular position, to be for Medicare for all. So how would this relate to immigration? Democrats don't only use this for Medicare for all, they use it for everything. The popular conversation, which Kirsten Gillibrand, Beto O'Rourke, I'm not quite sure about Buttigieg, but Julian Castro and Kamala, if not on that debate stage within the last year, all said that they want to decriminalize borders and abolish ICE. Now, I can go into a whole conversation about how the decriminalization of borders doesn't actually achieve what they would like it to achieve, because their definition of decriminalizing borders is to turn it from a quote-unquote criminal offense to a civil offense, but that could still lead to the exact same results, which is how you know they don't really care about the conclusion. They don't care about the results. But the phrase decriminalize borders, abolish ICE, it makes it seem as if, what do they want? Open borders. The social justice warriors, like the one who chastised Bernie because he wasn't for open borders, they hear that and they're like, oh wow, they're for open borders. Yeah, are they for open borders? No, none of the Democrats are in actuality for open borders. No, none of them are. But what Tulsi said is factually correct, and what Rubin said it sounds like that's what they're trying to do, or something like that, because that's what they're trying to convey, and it's being done on purpose. They are purposely trying to convey, yes, if you're asking me tacitly, am I for open borders? I'm not going to say that because I'm going to get hammered. And then you're going to hold me to that. But I'm going to use every dog whistle that gives the illusion that I'm for open borders. But when you ask me, I'm like, oh, no, I never said that. I never said that. Even some of them walked back their abolish ICE comments, remember? They were like, oh, abolish ICE, and then they had to walk it back, but it was too late because they already said abolish ICE. So whenever you have, that's what not just Democrats, by the way, not just Democrats, but they do this with every major issue. What it I think look at what Elizabeth Warren with Medicare for all. She literally does that right now. This is the same thing for every major issue. So when people are like, no Democrats for open borders, I am aware, just like basically no Democrats for Medicare for all, except for Tulsi and Bernie. And Mike Gravel when he was in the race. And now Marianne Williamson. And even Andrew Yang, I think too. I think Andrew Yang is now for Medicare for all. I can't remember. Something like that. One of the Yang, I know y'all watching this. Y'all let me know in the comment section. But yes, they say things that gives the impression that they are for or against something. But that is different than actually being for it. But if you have common sense and you're listening, you know what they're trying to convey. Wasn't that the big thing at like the night of the debate? Is everybody was like laughing, like, why are they trying so hard? Because they were pandering for the Latino vote. That's what we call pandering. They were pandering as if they wanted open borders. That doesn't mean they actually wanted them, but that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to outdo each other, and Beto started speaking horrible Spanish, and nobody wants to relive that moment, but that's where we are. So yeah, see a super chat. You should have Stephen Cohen on if you want to get to know about Russia. He also contributed. Oh yeah, I know Stephen Cohen. Dude, he's a smart guy. He's a smart guy. Yeah. So I was wondering what everybody was kind of talking about. I'm like, maybe if I watch more of the clip, then I'll understand what the outrage is. But don't get me wrong. Let me be clear about something. And this might just be the petty side of me. Even if Tulsi wanted to frame it as if every other Democrat was for open borders, just so she can get a political advantage, I wouldn't give a shit. Fuck the Democrats. I don't care about them. They've been lying on Tulsi for the last, I don't know, 8 months. If she wants to make them look like a bunch of idiots, I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't care. Do it. Fuck them. They don't have our best interests at heart anyway. But as far as this clip is concerned, the outrage is ridiculous. It's funny to me because I every time somebody gives me this like, did Tulsi really say this? And I'm like looking at the clip, I'm like, what are you talking about? This is like common sense 101. What are we upset about? Apparently she said something in this interview about like not being personally for third trimester abortions, and that was like a gasp. Like, bro, 90% of the country is not for third trimester abortions unless it's like to save a mother's life. That's a whole body in there, bro. Like, I'm not gonna legislate. If you ask me to sit in Congress and legislate somebody, as far as that's concerned, I'm just not gonna show up to work that day because I don't legislate women's bodies. I get all that. But if you're gonna ask me personally if I'm for that, hell no, that's a whole body in there, bruh. Like, no. I mean, there's always special circumstances though. And that's for a woman to decide what that special circumstances would be, because I guarantee that 90% of women, like I said, would not want to literally drag a body out of their body. So like if Tulsi said that, which I'm sure we'll hear in this clip, then so be it. I don't care. That's exactly what I would expect her to say. It's empathy for human life. What can I say?
A shining sea. It's about seeing again what makes sense. You know, I look at things from a practical, objective-oriented standpoint. I'm a soldier, so I look at what's our objective. Secure the borders. In some places, it may make the most sense to have a wall or some kind of physical barrier in place. In other places, it won't make sense. So you use technology and use all the other tools that we have ultimately to accomplish that objective of security at the
Let me
borders.
pause you there. So is the problem, though, just from that starting point,
Yeah.
which seems so obvious? I think the average person watching this is going, of course, countries exist because there are borders.
Yeah.
But even that starting point, you're going to get people that are further to the left of you going, well, there's some level of racism or xenophobia there, or, I mean, that's what there's always that subtext to this conversation.
Which is, I think it's a big problem.
Further to the left of you, so she's not positioning herself as left on this issue. And secondly, if you were an
What? I'm sorry. Maintaining sovereign borders is a left or a right position? I'm not talking about like a vanity project like a damn wall here. I didn't think that maintaining sovereignty, which all countries, literally all of them try and do, is a left or a right position. But this is Anna Kasparian, or this is Emma again, so what can I say? I see some super chats in here. Open borders is a Koch brother proposal. Absolutely, it is actually. And it drives wages down too. That's why people freak out about it. Anna wearing a fit watch but needs to work on out her brain. Ah! Oh, damn. Big Herb, you didn't miss that much, not too much. Black Star Goat, please call it AOC for maybe endorsing Warren. Hold up, what? Oh, you gotta send me more information on that. You can't drop $1 or $2 and be like, she might endorse Warren. I need some more information on that, homie. That's a big claim. Let's continue. Why do they keep trying to get me to buy TYT stuff?
an actual progressive and you went on that show, you would balk at the notion that Democrats are in favor of open borders. No one has said that, ever. And any person that's going to go on a right-wing talk show and listen to that talking point who identifies as someone who's on the left has to just sweep that away right away and say, that's not what we're talking about here. But no, she agrees with the framing, and perhaps that's because she voted present on...
Hold on. Hold up, what? No, why? First of all, once again, like I said earlier, and I'm a little bit more petty than Tulsi is, right? I'm not defending those asshole Democrats like Kamala, who said abolish ICE and decriminalize the border. Like, actually, Kirsten Gillibrand hasn't been mean to anybody, but she's actually been super nice the entire election. But she's still a neoliberal. But like, why would I defend these assholes? There have been smear after smear after smear. And those Democrats, those candidates, because once again, this is what they like extrapolate like the meaning or the what exactly was said and just create an entire new conversation that makes them not sound like morons. And they're like, okay, this is what you should have did instead. Like, no, that's not what was said. She didn't say all Democrats. She didn't say the left, like some people tried to frame it. She said the Democrats on stage effectively. And by the way, if you notice, they edited some of these clips, just letting you know. But if you listen to what was said, it said the Democrats on stage, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, then he specifically referenced, like, if you look at the debates, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure he said that. So if that's what was, why are you like inventing the things that were said? Like, the context of the conversation isn't important. This is why they send your ass on the road to go chase campaigns, because your analytical skills are a little more than suspect, Emma. But let's continue. Oh my God, why do they keep trying to get me to buy I'm not buying TYT gear. Try again.
on a Republican bill that said we have to support our ICE officers and make sure that we don't abolish ICE, when people like Beto O'Rourke voted against that. So when we're having a conversation about progressive policy when it comes to Tulsi Gabbard, there's red flag after red flag after red flag.
Hold up. So we're upset because she voted present on something? Okay.
I thought that, you know, her resigning from the DNC was really brave, and I really supported her anti-interventionist foreign policy until I took a further look and realized that a lot of it is based in dislike of Muslim people.
What? What? Holy fucking shit. Ooh. Wait a minute. Oh my God. Did she just say her anti-interventionism is... So hold up. I don't want to go bomb all these Muslims because I hate them and I want them to live through their miserable Muslim lives. Is that how that works, Emma? What the fuck? What is... Oh man. Oh Jesus, how the fuck do you get a job? It's like, oh man, this is ridiculous. This is... I don't know whether to laugh, whether to cry from laughing, really. Like, bro, Emma, do you know that you just claimed that a presidential candidate literally hates Muslims, which is hilarious, by the way, because if you know anything about Tulsi's campaign, like her volunteers and some of her staff, like it's almost pretty dominantly Muslim. It's like a lot of Muslims in her campaign, a lot of them. They love her. Oh my God. How is any... Do you understand that this... She's trying to say that a presidential candidate hates Muslims. Oh, excuse me. This has... It's her anti-interventionism is because she dislikes Muslims. What world are we living in right now that a person like this can have a job and be taken seriously? This is why earlier today I was like, yo, I don't even know if somebody asked me what, like, you know, what is progressive? I don't know what progressive is anymore. If Warren's progressive, if Anna's progressive, if Emma is progressive, then I don't know if I'm a progressive. I don't know anymore. Because clearly progressive don't mean shit at this point. Because Anna is progressive like Dave Rubin is liberal, if we're being honest. Oh, sweet baby Jesus, let me just get through this. I'm gonna try to get through this. Let's continue.
And that's evident in her vote to ban Syrian refugees from coming to the United States. It's evident in the fact that she was the only Democrat in Congress who was willing to go see Benjamin Netanyahu speak before Congress in his disdain for the Iran nuclear deal.
Interesting. So, once again, and I don't even have to Google this because I've already debunked this in my Michael Brooks rebuttal. But you know what Tulsi voted for? I love this part, and it lets you know how you know when somebody's latching on to establishment talking points, because what Tulsi voted for, if you actually read the bill, was for a very specific security vetting process, because that wasn't just for Syrian refugees. It was for refugees specifically from Syria and Iraq, which, if you know anything about our recent history with Iraq, that would probably raise red flags for you. And it's interesting that they never bring up the Iraq part. And it's probably because you might do some research and figure out, oh yeah, that's right, ISIS originated in Iraq, and the United States almost certainly helped to create ISIS. And if you know anything about our refugee process on top of that, then you know that we don't actually let primarily the refugees who are like on the receiving end of like marginalization in a particular region. No, when do you ever see mestizos or dark Venezuelans accepted as refugees in America? You know, a lot of people didn't even know that they were mestizos or dark or black Venezuelans. A lot of people didn't. Colombians, same thing. Cubans, same thing. We let the wrong people in here a lot of the time. Take it from somebody who lives in Miami. My point is, has anybody disproven the claim that Tulsi made that said that we're funding rebel and terrorist groups in Syria and in Iraq, and the claim that she has been making since 2014, right? Has anybody disproven that claim? Out of curiosity, did TYT disprove that claim? Interesting. So don't you think that perhaps, just maybe, we should be a little bit, because she didn't ban anybody. She voted for a vetting process that would have taken between 6 months to a year to complete. It didn't ban you. It just said you had to go through a specific vetting process. What's wrong with that? And it wouldn't grant you refugee status until you completed that process. What's wrong with that? And once again, they always say Syrian refugees, but not Iraqi refugees. Why? Because like I said, especially around that time, that's when it was being further confirmed that we are kind of supporting terrorists. And if you know, once again, anything about that region, what have we had a habit of doing? Oh yeah, using countries like Pakistan to give people fake passports and fake information and coming to the United States and say, hey man, don't snitch on us. You can come live here. We're gonna have to bomb that place. If you don't want to get bombed, just come over here. Come to the West Side, homie. Like, that's what we've done historically. We prop up terrorist organizations. Why do you think Pakistan still is not on a terrorist state-sponsored terrorism list? So that alone displays your ignorance on the issue that you keep saying she banned Syrian refugees but not Iraqi refugees. It's the same bill. If it's why are you not? Are Iraqis just not important to you? I'm confused. Or is that just a name that you remember somebody in the mainstream media saying whenever you were looking for an excuse to smear Tulsi? Is that what it is? Because she not only, by the way, did she not vote to ban anybody? I love. Did they say, oh, she voted for a Republican bill? No, stop it. It was bipartisan. It was Republican sponsored it. And the part that Anna is leaving out is that just months, not even months, a couple of months, maybe after that, Tulsi wrote a letter along with several other members of Congress to make sure that we gave extra funding to refugees. Because even though she believes in sovereignty and border security, and she understands the reality of what we're dealing with, and it's a reality, unfortunately, she also believes in humans, and she understands that there are actual refugees that do need support. And she voted to increase funding for the refugees in the Middle East that were made refugees by our hands. But once again, you think Anna's gonna mention that part? Because that was literally a couple of months, if that, after that vote was made. Or do you think she's gonna mention the part where we fund terrorism? Probably not, though, right? Because if you know, mentioning the fact that we fund terrorism is that's like Islamophobic, you know? Gabriel Akari, TYT equals Tulsi haters. Keep up the good work, Niko. Sending some love from Sweden. Appreciate it. Money out of politics. Show enough. Manny, Tulsi answered the reparations question amazingly. She has signed on to HR 40 in the House for a while. Yes, she was one of the very first people to do it, actually. Before she even informed anybody or told anybody. She told me that she did that earlier, and she wanted to make sure that she was saying it when she was talking about reparations, that she was doing it correctly, rather than just trying to pander. Because at the time, I don't know if you all recall, HR 40 was never really brought up, but reparations was being used to pander. But of course, we later found out, as I had been saying, that none of them were actually for reparations except for Tulsi. She educated Rubin. That's the second time Rubin had been educated on reparations. Reynald Morendo, Niko's an American treasure and soon to be a global icon. Oh man, I appreciate that. I don't know if you can be a global icon by telling the truth, but hey, we gonna try. Cause somebody gotta take over this nonsense. This is ridiculous. Let's go.
And imagine if Elizabeth Warren did that, seriously.
Oh, I mean, we know that there's a double standard when it comes to the individuals who support Tulsi Gabbard. There are certain things that she can do that they will overlook. They don't care, right? It's totally fine. But if any other candidate, including Warren or even Bernie Sanders, had voted the same way, the reaction would be different. Can you imagine if Elizabeth Warren had voted in favor of a resolution condemning the BDS movement.
Didn't I just tell y'all that there's literally not been one military budget that Elizabeth Warren has not voted for? There's not been one war or conflict or sanction that Elizabeth Warren has not, and they don't care? Is that what we're saying? So that's not important? And it wasn't and I hate to have to go through this, relitigate this, but first of all, Bernie did actually get away with literally trying to get the legislature, trying to get to the United Nations to not assist or participate in BDS or allow the participation of BDS in any way, form, or fashion. It was a letter written by Marco Rubio, and he signed it. And he got caught out for it by Al Jazeera, and nobody canceled him for it. That's one of his weak issues. He's gotten way better at it. The resolution, that they're referring to is HR 246. We've already talked about this over and over and over again, which I said if I was Tulsi, I would have abstained because it was a trap. But from her perspective, I do get it, because she was more concerned about the affirmation of free speech, although she does not believe BDS is the way to achieve peace between the two states. She believes that it should be solely taken care of between those two states. Cool, whatever. But she also knew that there are a bunch of cases in state courts that had literally no precedence about BDS or free speech specifically regarding BDS, and we would be leaving it up to a bunch of Trump's federal judges to adjudicate whether or not someone could be convicted in one form or another over BDS nonsense or anti-BDS nonsense. And to help understand this even better, she also co-sponsored Ilhan Omar's bill to make sure that free speech regarding BDS was affirmed, or not bill, resolution. Here's the problem. And like I had said back then, whenever the situation first popped off, I said the problem is we also know how Congress, unfortunately, feels about Ilhan Omar. We don't even know if that bill or that resolution will ever see the floor. Once again, there would be no precedence. If that other resolution didn't get passed, there would be no precedence, because Ilhan Omar's resolution literally never hit the floor. So once again, because there is no actual precedent specifically regarding free speech and anti-BDS or BDS, it would be left up to federal judges that Trump appointed. Remember, the Democrats fast-tracked them right through there? And so, yeah, maybe eventually, if it got to the Supreme Court would side on behalf of those who are pro-BDS. But we don't really have that much dominance in the Supreme Court either, do we? So now you have legislation, albeit imperfect, that literally says, hey, we're for free speech. We don't like it, BDS. Okay, and can I do it? Well, yeah, you can do it. But you don't like it? Yeah, we don't like it. But you can't do shit about it, right? Nope, we sure can't. Well, shit, yeah, give me that bill. I'll take that one. Yeah, for sure. 100%. That's literally what happened. They wagged their finger and nothing happened at all. What's interesting, once again, this is why you should subscribe if you're just now here, because we actually covered this legislation, unlike TYT, who just gaslit and didn't actually try to educate anybody on this. The real legislation that everybody should have been worried about was HR 1837, because that was a bill. And because it was a bill about money to Israel, they didn't use all the pretty buzzwords to have everybody distracted about a damn resolution. So they didn't talk about BDS. They didn't mention it not once in that 1837 bill. They didn't mention it not once. Guess why? Because that bill effectively kills BDS by giving Israel unlimited money. Guess who co-sponsored that? Not Tulsi. Ro Khanna did, actually. Funny enough. But luckily, Tulsi, Ayanna, Ilhan, Rashida Tlaib, and AOC, none of them co-sponsored that. They went to a voice vote so they can try to keep their hands clean. But I wonder if TYT will talk about that. Because that's what Tulsi said. She said she's not at all for legislating the end of BDS. She believes in free speech, specifically. And that's why she didn't vote for that. And that's why she also, once again, co-sponsored Elon's bill. But 1837, which literally kills BDS by giving unlimited money to Israel and specifically targeting the industries, like targeting giving more money to the industries that BDS targets. And TYT didn't cover it. What a surprise. That's why I'm saying to fire their researchers. But let's gaslight about resolutions, about how Tulsi hates Muslims. Oh man, I can't believe they're taken seriously. Let's continue. Let's continue.
I mean, we wouldn't stop hearing about it, right? And by the way, that would be legitimate criticism. We would criticize her for that. But I want to move on to one other thing, because you're right. The way that that question was framed was, progressives want open borders. And Rubin, if you listen...
Oh my God, she just said it again. Okay, so I'm not crazy, right? She keeps saying the question was framed, progressives want this. And is she doing this on... I'm curious to know what your opinion is. Do you think that she's framing this on purpose to try and conflate and convince people that Democrats are progressives? Because you can literally count on like two hands. I'm talking about in both the Senate and the House. You can count on two hands how many Democrats are progressives. And you really might be able to get away with one. You don't see... No, you need two. You got like 2.5 hands. Democrats are by and large, as far as the federal government is concerned, Democrats are not progressive. I don't know why you keep saying that. That's the whole reason we're having this problem with election rigging, because they're not progressive. You keep forgetting that? Or you're hearing what you want to hear and you're projecting, because that's really what it sounds like. It sounds like you've been projecting this entire time, which once again wouldn't be anything new for Anna and Emma, I guess.
Carefully, specifically asks, is that a fair way to frame the question? And she's like, yeah, I think that's fair. And then she moves on. Okay, well, name one candidate in the Democratic Party who has said that they want open borders.
Julian Castro, Kirsten Gillibrand, Kamala Harris, Beto O'Rourke. That's off the top of my head that I can think of that said everything alluding to open borders. Because once again, that was the point of what they said. They wanted to convince social justice warriors who have no idea how real life works, like the one, once again, who tried to chastise Bernie because he didn't support open borders. Because there are a lot of people, believe it or not, who don't live in reality and do want open borders that aren't just libertarian. There are people on the left who feel this way. Don't agree with them. They're free to believe what they want to believe. But because of how big of a deal the Democrats tried to make this with the DACA situation over the last 2 to 3 years, they're trying to convince the world that they do want the idea of open borders. That's the whole, just like they try to convince the world that they do want Medicare for all, but they don't want either. That's political rhetoric. That's what they do. It's a rhetorical trap. And and then if you say, oh, well, you want open borders, they're gonna be like, no, I never said that. I never said that. I said I wanted to decriminalize this, and then they'll pivot right like they always do. But Tulsi is correct in saying they are framing their answers like they want open. They're also framing their answers like they want Medicare for all. You know, but hey, maybe Emma and Anna are convinced that they do want Medicare for all. Is that what it keeps supporting Warren? Because it's working, like the subliminal inception is working. I don't know, maybe, whatever. But that's literally what they're trying to achieve. Is to convince people that they are not people, but the social justice warriors, without ever having to say the phrase open borders, because as far as you're setting yourself up for failure with the right if you do that. But if you appease the left by pretending as if you want it, which they do, because when you're talking about abolishing ICE, when you're talking about decriminalization without framing it correctly, because that's what they do, they don't frame what decriminalization means correctly at all. In fact, they're wrong about what it means. And then they don't talk about comprehensive immigration reform or anything else. That's the big clue that they are just trying to maintain bipartisan plausible deniability. I never said I'm for open borders. Well, I never said I wasn't for open borders either. We know what they're doing. Like, we can play stupid, but come on, bro. It's like with Elizabeth Warren. Yeah, there are plenty of paths to Medicare for all. Yeah, I'm a fighter. Yeah.
In fact, Bernie Sanders unequivocally said that he does not support open borders. So it's just fascinating how she allowed that smear to just go by, but there isn't a specific example of an individual running for president right now on the Democratic side who wants open borders.
Really quick, and I would love if somebody can go back and fast forward it and look and answer this in the comment section. Did they cut up the part of that question and answer where Tulsi says, well, they're not saying it directly, but from what I've researched and what they are saying, effectively, they are advocating for open borders. Isn't that what Tulsi said in that interview? And they like cut that part off.
Frustrating to see just like the very careful way everyone treats this one particular candidate. First of all, no candidate is above criticism. Not a single one, right? Bernie Sanders votes the wrong way, we're going to call him out.
I'm gonna be honest with you, and as much as I love the Burn Man, they have not called out Bernie Sanders at all for any of his votes. I'm just being honest. Y'all know I love Bernie. Domestic policy has been his wheelhouse, but foreign policy has been abysmal. His foreign policy has been like he gets away with it because he says, oh, I voted against the military budget and I voted against the Iraq war, but he doesn't talk about the fact that he voted for the war in Afghanistan, which is a forever war. He don't talk about the fact that he voted for covert operations in Syria. He voted for covert operation. He voted for the first Iraq war. He voted to bomb Serbia. He voted to bomb Gaza. Like, to be honest, like they don't call out Bernie all the time because you lose subscribers when you call out Bernie. You know, it is what it is. I call out Bernie all the time, and I know. Or I call him out when necessary, not all the time. And I know. You don't call, like Bernie just completely ignored the idea that the election is rigged on The View, and they didn't care. Like everybody, Bernie supporters were pissed about it, everybody. And the people who were deflecting wanted to make it about Tulsi. Oh, you just mad because he didn't support Tulsi. No, it's not about that. Nah, bro, this process is rigged, and it will eventually be rigged against you. It's already being rigged against you. And he even defended the DNC that I thought we didn't like. So you don't always call him out. So if we're being honest, and I damn sure don't remember when you call out Warren, unless I missed that video. I don't watch TYT, but it would actually probably be shared somewhere if they actually called out Warren, and I didn't see that. So this is oh man, the gaslighting is crazy. That's why I tell y'all, man, neoliberal lights, bruh. They think that if they throw Bernie's name out, it makes everything else okay. I'm telling you.
Elizabeth Warren, the way she answered your question on defense spending, skirted the issue. We did a story criticizing her on that because that's the fair and honest way to cover these stories. Pretending as if Tulsi Gabbard is a progressive is ridiculous to me. And I'm not gonna like pretend like I'm buying into it. Are there some progressive issues that she's signed on to here and there? Sure. But if you look at her overall record, you cannot tell me that she is a progressive, which is rubbing shoulders with Narendra Modi, who turned the other way as thousands of Muslims were raped and...
Okay. How did I know that was going to come up? Jesus Christ. So. Oh, man. Oh my God. I was like, man, please don't let me have to do a Modi deep dive here. So, for the 150,000th time that we've had to address this, let's be clear. One, she didn't rub shoulders with Narendra Modi. That's not what she did. She was a member of not only the Foreign Affairs Committee, but the Council of Foreign Affairs and the Armed Services Committee. All three of those committees require you to meet with leaders of other nations. Can you believe it? And she did. Believe it or not, she actually did her damn job, which seems to be a pretty consistent theme for Tulsi. Can you believe it? And she did meet with Modi, but she also went to meet with the Congress Party as well. Yeah. That happened. And you know why she was trying to meet with Modi? I covered this briefly, or not briefly. I did a video about it yesterday. And if you go look at her comments, you can verify this. She knew that one thing you cannot deny about Modi is that the man is damn near an economic genius. And he's a populist regarding economy. She also knew, as a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee and a person who pays attention to international politics, if we don't take advantage of the fact that Modi is going to be opening up India's market to many more countries, and she also was once again quite aware that Modi was about to shoot their GOP all the way up, she tried to help the United States take advantage of that. Now, why would she want to do something like that? Oh, that's right, because guess who was the world's fastest growing economy and the number one economy, or excuse me, the number one fastest growing, I should say. Number one fastest growing economy from 2014 to 2019. Guess who it was? Guess who it was? Y'all know who it was? It was India. Yeah. And India has been doing business with everybody. They've managed to get Iran, they've managed to allow Iran and Israel to work with them simultaneously on projects. Because money talks, baby. At the end of the day. And guess who else they're working with? They're working with Russia. And in fact, they're about to triple their trade over the next 2 to 3 years. Guess what? 100 million plus people now have bank accounts. And if you want to start a small business, it is now funded 100% by the Indian government. If you want to start a small business, Tulsi, using this thing we have called common sense, was like, okay, her loyalty is not only to peace and humanity, but also it's her job to do what's in the best interest of this country. And her saying that she wants to benefit economically from trades with India, isn't that the opposite of the isolationism that they're trying to pretend she is? Like, I'm confused. I thought she was an isolationist because she hates Muslims or something like that. Jonathan West, thanks for the super chat. Thanks for calling out TYT on their smear campaign against Tulsi. They're clearly sold with their support for Warren. Clearly bought and sold. But it gets even better, because do you know that there is a World Hindu Congress? And Tulsi, once upon a time, was about to be part of the World Hindu Congress. However, Tulsi made it very, very clear with the leader of the World Hindu Congress that if it is a partisan effort, if it becomes highly partisan in any way, left or right, if it even looks partisan, if a speaker is brought to a congressional hearing or a meeting and they speak in a partisan manner, outside of the uplifting of the Hindu people in general, then she will not be a part of it. Well, guess what they did? They did exactly the opposite of what she asked for. And guess what she did? She sent a whole letter to tell them, in a very nice way, because that's Tulsi. She opened up the letter with aloha and everything, and said, you informed me that there would be no partisan or no partisanship whatsoever, and it would not be specifically political partisanship. That is not what I've witnessed. Therefore, I am no longer a part of this. So in other words, the last person who tried to use Tulsi's her brand for partisan politics, specifically for Hindu purposes, she completely cut them off. This was a couple of years ago. More than I can say about Ro Khanna, though. That's a different discussion for a different day. But I'm confused. Is that what you call rubbing shoulders? And I want to be very clear about something. If you have a legitimate critique of Modi, then you can bring it. You can bring it and you can have it and we can discuss it. But stop with the lie that he just didn't do anything. He just let Muslims die. And no, first of all, Muslims and Hindus did die. I want to be very clear about that. And it was because of an incident that he was supposed to go on the train and stop the beef from happening. It was like over an accident. And it was a riot started. And riots in India, unfortunately, are not uncommon. Their biggest complaint was that he was complicit. Do you know when that complaint was lodged? It was lodged by a wife of a member of the congressional party who was the opposing party. Guess when that complaint was lodged? She said the incident was in 2002, right? It was. You think it was was the investigation launched in 2002? No. 2003? Nope. 2004? Nope. 2005? Nope. 6? Nope. 7? Nope. 8? Nope. 9? Ding! It was started in 2009. And guess what? The congressional party, they still had a Supreme Court. The congressional party still was the one picking the special. That's the opposing party to Modi. They were the ones who picked these special investigators. And the opposing party Supreme Court and special investigators were the ones who exonerated Modi. And it was such a clear case on his behalf that when they tried to relitigate the case, it was immediately turned down. Yeah. So if that's going to be the argument that you wage, you know, because you want to read, everybody's still reading that Jacobin magazine from 2017. I would have figured we would have updated our research by now, but that's not what we're doing apparently. I'm sure Modi is a leader of a superpower, or a power, I should say. He's not a superpower. Well, they're about to be. He's a leader like any other leader of a major country. He has good, he has bad. Don't worship him. Don't pretend like he's any different than most of the leaders that we have around the world. And damn sure don't try and use illegitimate information to pretend like Tulsi, one, is rubbing shoulders with him. That's a literal lie. But two, don't lie on the, if the person is bad, don't lie. Because then you deal, that's the whole thing we argue about Russiagate all the time. Trump has so many things wrong with him. What do y'all want to try to pin on him? Russiagate. Thank you so much, because you're going to make him president again. You keep this shit up. Because that's what, you victimize him. You delegitimize your legitimate claims, and you legitimize the illegitimate claims coming from the other side. So if you think he's a bad leader, and by the way, what they also don't talk about, which is a whole different thing, this man had 83% approval rating, okay? After two years of being prime minister of India, he had an 83% approval rating. And he introduced Medicare for all and public banking and all that good stuff. And I already told you all that. Cleaned up the rivers, make sure there's bathrooms in everybody's homes. For the first time, India has public bathrooms. Pretty big stuff, right? Pretty good stuff. But then, you know what he had in the last, like now, what he has now? 74% approval rating. Damn it. They hate that man. Oh, and also, what she also didn't mention is the fact that he doubled the amount of Muslim votes he got in his recent election compared to the first one. The first one, they're like, oh no, he's BJP or RS or whatever. He doesn't like us. Then his policies actually helped Muslims probably more than anybody else, because they're the ones, you know, that's how marginalizing minorities of any brand are. They are the ones who are helped most by the policies that help poor people. And guess what? They went from like 18, 19, 20% voting for him to 40% of all the Muslims in India voting for him. You ain't getting 40% of all the black people in anywhere to vote for Donald Trump. Are you not damn sure not getting 40% of the Muslim population to vote for Trump? Because he actually passed policies that were targeting Muslims. So if we're going to, he might have done something wrong, but that the stuff that they're trying to claim is, this is the worst examples to use, because it's all been debunked and it's all lies. Which is why, by the way, they always try to go straight for the 2002 Gujarat riots, but never actually talk about policy. Where do we hear that? Oh, that's right. Where the mainstream here tries to smear any candidate, what do? Do they talk about policies? Or do they talk about, oh, why didn't Bernie Sanders do something about the random incident of sexual harassment across the country while he was running for president? Huh? Why is that? Yeah. He should have been in the room stopping that person from saying the wrong naughty things that he said to that woman. He should have been in the room. It's really his fault, if we're being honest. No, they don't talk about policies. They talk about nonsense. And Jeremy Corbyn, anti-Semitic, right? That's what they try to tell everybody. He's anti-Semitic. Why? Because he called out the Rothschilds. Okay, aren't they bad? Aren't they corrupt? Well, yeah. Okay, so what about his policies? Oh, don't worry about his policies. Don't worry about that stuff. Same thing. So, I just had to clarify that, and I was really hoping they didn't do a Modi claim this video, because I'm like, ugh. But of course they did. Why am I surprised? Let's continue.
Murdered in the Gujarat riots is, I mean, come on.
Or going to fundraisers hosted by right-wing Israeli groups.
Yeah.
And yet again, what's it called? Christians for Israel. Okay, we're still having a conversation about the progressivism, and it's because
I'm confused. Because she did speak at that, by the way. She did speak at that. And I don't really have I don't think it was called Christians for Israel. I think it was something else. It was like a Jewish something or another association. It's like Christians for Jewish people or whatever. But let's just say we take the framing of what she said, right? I'm confused. Warren has been abhorrent on Israel-Palestine, but she still considers Warren a progressive. But if Tulsi went to a Jewish Christian for Jewish meeting or whatever, and by the way, she didn't take any money from them. Go through her filings, you can check yourself. She didn't take any money from them. She went to speak because she does support, and her parents are Christian, she does support the Jewish community, which I don't have an inherent problem with. Now, if she walks up in an AIPAC meeting and is like, hey man, here's a blank check, sign it, tell me what you want and I'll make it happen. That's not what she said. That's not what she did. But if what Emma is claiming means that Tulsi isn't progressive, then doesn't that mean that the person that she's claiming is progressive and Elizabeth Warren isn't progressive? Do they understand how many self-defeating arguments they've made this entire video? You're looking at the woman who spends every day caping for Warren, which is Emma, and then Anna, who did a 2-minute video out the gate defending Warren only 2 weeks after she did a 2-minute video smearing Tulsi. Literally 2 weeks. she did a whole video Warren has really evolved. She really has. Who cares if she used to be a Republican? That was so long ago. She wasn't, it's like Tulsi, right? She used to be Tulsi was living on her dad's roof and she was like 20 years old. Warren was 40 when she was a Republican. She was educated. She had like 2 or 3 degrees and was working in Harvard at this point. What the fuck? There's a clear difference. And she was probably a Republican for political, it benefited her to be a Republican at that time. Then it didn't benefit her anymore, so she became a Democrat. Oh, but don't get it confused. Pretty much in every way, form or fashion, Warren has voted like a Republican. But hey, like I said, this common sense and eating your own words, which is crazy because I feel like Warren, excuse me. See, I'm even calling her Warren. I feel like Emma and Anna should have a lot more weight on their bones considering how much they eat their own words every single day. But hey, man, that metabolism is wild. Let's go.
Because other progressive talk show hosts or pundits online are afraid of the Tulsi Gabbard fans. I'm not afraid of you guys. I'm not afraid of you guys. No, I'm gonna call.
Oh! Hold up, y'all. She's not afraid of me. So why have y'all been dodging debates for me and Fiorella for the last 8 months? I'm curious. Cause y'all can do these little videos on your TYT network, and you saw the video where Emma was almost crying trying to defend Elizabeth Warren taking big money. And we've hit this cross. I spent money on my own plane ticket because Anna wanted to go back and forth smearing Tulsi, and she wanted to try to ad hominem and attack me. And I said, and I'm not arguing with you when I understand if you're a writer, I'm not as quick to say, okay, debate me, because I get it. Talking in front of a camera is different, right, than writing. But when you have a perfectly good platform, just like I have a perfectly good platform, we have perfectly fine cameras, and you are more than comfortable with speaking in front of crowds. then why the hell am I gonna argue with you on Twitter? No, let's debate. Guess where Anna did? Anna went dark the entire time I was in California. When I bought my own ticket to California to debate her after she was talking all that shit on Twitter. The moment I said, okay, let's debate, bet, boom, posted my ticket on Twitter. She ain't say nothing until after I left California. Then she want to open her mouth again. And everybody's like, well, Anna, so why don't you just debate him? What? Huh? You said who? Do what now? But Dave Rubin, please debate me. Dave and Ben, debate me. Let me expose you. And Emma, oh God, Emma would just get embarrassed. Emma, she don't even have to debate me. She could debate Fee. Fee would obliterate Emma. And she knows it. I've said many times, because Michael wanted to talk shit on Twitter too, Michael Brooks. Guess what I told him? Bring that ass over here, boy. Let's debate then. We can debate all day. And I'm giving you the advantage. I said, because don't get me wrong, I still like Bernie, but if you want to debate the merits, because that's what they try and do, right? They usually are trying to attack Bernie and use that to either uplift Tulsi or uplift Warren. So if I'm giving you, I said, you can even use Bernie if you want. And you still punk out? You was talking all that shit, but you couldn't debate somebody. I'm not calling into your show. Like, no, if we're going to bet it up, then we need to bet it up. I'm going to show up in the studio. We're going to get a moderator and we're going to have it out. Like professionals. Skype exists for debates. Manny, I'm going to keep it a band with you. Manny, I have a program that I pay for every month for just such an occasion. So if you want to debate, like I'm hosting a debate on Wednesday against the guy from the Ghetto News Network. He going to get embarrassed. He Michael Brooks' friend. He about to be a little hurt by the end of that debate. And that's okay. But do you have the, bruh, Emma, how do you have the unadulterated gall, you or Anna, to talk about what you're not scared of? You have been running away for the last 8 months. And I really hope someone clips this part of the segment at, what time is this segment? What part? At 34, 35? Where we at? How many minutes? 1 hour and 24 minutes into the segment. I hope someone clips this and remembers to clip this, post it on Anna, post it on Twitter to Anna and Emma, because I'm tired of y'all dodging and talking shit and then dodging and then talking shit and then dodging. If I'm a shill, if Fiorella is a shill, if we're sycophants, if we don't have brains and we're not well researched and we don't know what we're talking about, then why are you running away for? Well, you could use your platform to expose us. Why are you running away? Oh, that's right, because the last time Anna tried to debunk my points, her fucking comment section tore her ass up. That's what happened. All 4 million of them motherfuckers destroyed you. Remember that, Anna? Your little no filter response? Remember? Debate Niko, debate Niko, debate Niko. Why don't you debate Niko? To the point where YouTube thought that people were trolling her like there were bots, and her dislike to like ratio was so bad that YouTube reset it and everybody went back and made sure that the ratio was correct. Is that why you're afraid to debate me, Anna? Is that why? Because I'm so sick of these motherfuckers, these pompous ass motherfuckers propped up by big money in one form or another. Whether it be Michael Brooks sucking Sam Cedar's dick and MSNBC, because that's how Sam Cedar got his damn studio. And of course, Michael uses his facilities. And that's the only reason anybody pays attention to Michael. Mr. Work Wife. And with TY, Anna, nobody would know who you are if it wasn't for TYT. Nobody would think you're important. Nobody would value your opinion. Emma, people still know the fuck you are. We're like, okay, what does she do? Well, she reports sometimes. Oh, okay. And then what? Well, she kisses Warren's ass. Okay. You provide zero substance. You add nothing to that network except for all them connections that you know I know about, because I know you know I know what connections you got. Oh yeah, I ain't gonna do that because I don't want to dox your family. But you just need to know that I know. Emma. You know. I ain't gonna go there, but you know what I'm talking about. Wonder who your family been donating to over the last few years. Interesting. So once again, sorry y'all, I had to go on that little rant. I'm like, bruh, don't ever try to tell me. That's the one thing. I don't give a shit what you want to say about me. Like, I laugh most of it off. Like, somebody, oh, you're a shill. Like, and also, I don't think that people understand what grifter means. If I was a grifter, then because in my objective analysis, Tulsi is the best candidate, and it's not even close. In my objective analysis, if I wanted to just keep my subscribers, if I wanted to just get views, if I wanted to just kiss ass and do what everybody else is doing, I would just pretend like I'm, 100% for Bernie and not tell the truth about Tulsi and not have done my research, because I'm not a grifter, actually. In fact, it's to my detriment. People get on me about it all the time. They're like, Niko, what do you have to say that? Did you have to endorse Tulsi? Did you have to say she's better? Absolutely, 100%, because I don't know how to do anything else. That's just who I am. I'm a damn New York Knicks fan, unfortunately, because I have to be loyal to where I am. That's where I'm from. So that's not what a grifter is, people. A grifter is somebody who just rides a wave for money, like TYT or Sam Cedar or Michael Brooks, to the point where they will even lie and smear anybody standing in their way or interrupting that grift. That is what a grifter is. Unfortunately, I have too much fucking integrity to be a shill. If I didn't, I would be rich. I would have taken one of the 3 or 4 investment bankers that have come up to me and offered me damn money to boost my show. No, thank you. I'm good on that. So I don't want to hear at all from these motherfuckers about somebody being, you're not scared of you are the definition of scared. You've been running for 8 months, both of y'all. Let's keep it real, bruh. They don't know how to do that. Let me see if we can get to this video.
Call it like it is. And sorry, I'm gonna dive in.
Oh, but the moral of the story was, my bad. I completely forgot my conclusion. I was so damn mad. Moral of the story is, you come with the fuck you want to, but don't ever call me scared. Because I'll pull up on your ass. From Miami to California, ask Anna, because she knows.
The internet pit, and it's fun for me because I want to call things like they are.
RFP, her mentions.
Yeah, I don't care anymore. It's fun.
But it's not even about, look.
She's telling me she's about to cry. Okay. It's always been RIP to Emma's mentions for the last 6 months. She's like, I like to call it like it is. That's why I still believe that Elizabeth Warren is a progressive. Yeah, you definitely like to call it like it is.
People are going to get upset when you criticize their candidate one way or the other, right? And it is what it is, but it's not going to stop us from doing our job. So let me continue doing our job by going to the next video. And this has to do with gun control. Take a look.
Ask her about guns. You gotta ask her about guns, because the general feeling, they want their guns, basically. So can you just sort of lay out your position?
Yeah, I think that I stand up for Second Amendment rights. I don't think it conflicts with the need. I feel we also need to have sensible gun safety regulation. I think that the fact that we have not seen any kind of legislation pass for a very long time is because
Tulsi's such a grifter. Oh my God, look at her. You didn't frame it left wing enough.
On one side, you have people who say there should be absolutely no regulation whatsoever on guns and who can own them. And on the other side, you have folks who are saying they want to repeal the Second Amendment and they want to get rid of guns completely and take everyone's guns away. And you have those two extremes on both sides kind of pointing their arrows at each other with no real substantive dialogue and conversation happening with that entire space in the middle where we recognize that there's no conflict between upholding our Second Amendment rights while also making sure that these guns are not put into the hands of those who would seek to do incredible harm to other people.
So what would be a sensible law that isn't passed already? Because that it always seems to come down to that.
Well, the background checks. Yeah.
Pleb, thanks for the super chat. I had to pause for that one. For your plane ticket at TYT, I used to love TYT. I mean, shit, I'll definitely do another one. I'll fly back over there if they accept my. I told them I flew back over there. I literally spent $500 of my own dollars, y'all. 500, probably more than that, to be honest with you, to get to California. Cause I told Anna, I said, okay, let's debate it up then. Bet I'll even buy my own plane ticket. All you gotta do is be in the studio, and I will pop up. And Anna did not do anything. She went black. I was tagging her, I was atting her, everybody else on Twitter was atting her. People were popping up in her comment section to tell her to debate me. People were popping up in the live chat. People were sending super chats to TYT telling Anna to debate me, and she still ignored it. And then guess what she started doing? As soon as I got back home, I started talking all that shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's one that that we just passed with some bipartisan support from the House. It's sitting in the Senate now, waiting for movement.
When you hear things like the city of San Francisco designating the NRA a terrorist organization, do you think that's helping or
I don't think. I think that further deepens the divide.
So,
hold on, real quick. I'm gonna make a quick prediction. They're gonna be so upset about her saying, because I think that making the NRA a terrorist organization is kind of ridiculous. Like, it just like, I don't know, ban them or something. I don't know, but that's like most card carrying NRA people are literally just doing it for the discounts. Right? Am I like, I know a couple people in the NRA and they literally do it for the discounts. Not gonna lie to you. So, but I'm gonna assume that this is about the NRA, not the common sense, wonderful response that Tulsi just gave. It's gonna be about the NRA. I'm just guessing. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet.
What stood out to me in that answer was her statement about the House legislation on gun control sitting in the Senate waiting for movement. That is a great opportunity as a so-called progressive candidate, as a Democratic candidate, you don't have to be progressive, to call out Mitch McConnell for blocking votes on that type of legislation. But she's very careful to avoid criticizing members of the right. If you look.
Oh man, I don't even have to explain to y'all what the fuck. Okay, let's continue.
Listen to the entirety of that interview. She tries to play both sides. She talks about bipartisanship. She talks about working together and finding common ground.
Very Obama-esque.
It's very Obama-esque, and we all know what happens when Democrats talk.
Oh, really? Oh, so that's how you feel about Bernie Sanders, who went on The View the other day and was actually touting how he worked with John McCain and other Republicans to get legislation passed, and that's how he know he'll be able to work with Republicans in office once he becomes president? Are you gonna say that about Bernie too, Anna? Huh? Is that how you feel? Huh? Is that really how you feel? Because I just saw an interview where Bernie said that, and he used John fucking McCain as the example of people he's worked with in the past to get things done. And so we feel that way. So Bernie's Obama-esque is what you're saying. Oh, okay. That's crazy. This bitch is, oh man.
Talk about bipartisanship. It means concession after concession after concession. We need bold change. That's why there is this.
We need bold change, and that's why they support Elizabeth Warren, the queen of unproductivity. She is literally, I'm not exaggerating, she's in the bottom 5 for most unproductive senators in all of the Senate. And she's in the bottom 10 for unproductive legislators in both the House and the Senate. So, and this is the woman who has plans for everything, and then when you actually won, you gotta ask, why do you have a plan for it and you haven't introduced it ever? And we're supposed to believe that you're gonna follow through on it. But then too, why every time you got a plan for something, it sounds like it starts off bold. We know college debt is a problem and we should deal with it. That's why we're gonna cancel up to $50,000. You know, healthcare is a right, okay? And I'm a fighter, and so I'm gonna fight to make sure that you might have access kind of to healthcare potentially if I feel like it and if my donors let me. I'm a fighter. We need bold. That's why we need Warren. It's crazy how much stuff, you know, if you're replaced like Tulsi's name with Warren in this interview, it honestly would make more sense for them. And that's what's, I think, the funniest about all of it. But I'm not even gonna address the shit she just said, like, cause bruh.
A surge of progressivism within the Democratic Party. That's the reason why she's latched onto that label to help her, even though it hasn't really worked so far because her record speaks for itself.
Hasn't worked so far? Oh, interesting. Did y'all know that in the new Emerson poll that just released today, Tulsi is now at 6% in New Hampshire, placing her what in as number 4, 5, or 6 in climbing, and that Kamala is actually now within point like 2 or 3 points in the national average. Because not national average, excuse me, within last month's national average. There's a whole article about it. You should check it out. Oh, Jimmy Dore covered it. Jimmy Dore, go check out Jimmy Dore's video about it. And also she hit the 130,000 threshold like forever ago, and now she's closing in on 170,000 or 108,000, something like that. And she just filled up a room last minute with 500 people. And in Atlanta, she had like 300 or 400 people. And like I don't know if y'all have noticed this, but a lot of these rallies have been bigger than 90%. Every candidate except for maybe the top 2 or 3, Tulsi's rallies have been bigger than. But it's not helping because her record.
But in reality, look, talk is talk. If you're going to claim to be a progressive, you can't sit there and pretend as though there are Democratic candidates who are trying to take all the guns away. No. No one has advocated for that. No one on the left has said.
The Second Amendment. She just accepted that framing.
Right.
There are a lot of people that talk as if they don't want that, like they're trying to harm the Second Amendment. There are a lot of Democrats who talk like that. To be quite honest with you, the problem with the anti-gun people is that the Democrats talk like that, but they don't actually do anything about that. That's the problem. That's actually the problem. They talk like it, but they don't do anything about it. But I don't know. What are they trying to achieve, bruh? I guess, you know what's funny? I really think that there's this fear bubbling up within Anna and Emma. Like, it's a legitimate fear, like, yo, she's getting more popular. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What if she becomes president? We're never getting in the White House. We're literally never gonna be able to enter. Like, we have to kiss her ass. Like, we're gonna have to kiss her ass, or literally bitch at everything she does, and which would honestly probably make her more popular. Cause like, I'm pretty sure like TYT has made Trump more popular than Alex Jones ever could, because all they did was lie about, like, instead of talking about the real things that he has done, the real issues with him, they went to Russiagate and Gaslight for the last 3 years. But they're terrified at the idea that 38-year-old Tulsi Gabbard, the first woman president, the first president of Hindu faith, the first president who was in the military, not was, but is, the first president, the first millennial president. They are terrified that she will just outshine them in every single way, form, or fashion and break through their smears after they worked so hard to prop up Warren. They are terrified of it. It's hilarious to watch. I'm not going to lie. They're becoming a little bit unhinged because, like, they're defending Warren with such ferocity because they know that Bernie's going to get cheated. Like, if Bernie doesn't do something about it, he's going to get cheated. Unfortunately, this is a whole different can of worms I don't want to get into. And they do know that if they are going to prop up anybody at this moment, it's going to be Warren. And they want to be in that White House because they're tanking. They're losing money. They're not that popular anymore. They get attacked more than they get support. And there's only so many times you can ask for investment banking money when you're not profitable anymore. So they know that their key is getting White House access. And they have not had that before, but that would be a game changer for them. Elizabeth Warren would probably give them White House access. But do you really think that Tulsi would? Probably not. I'd probably get some access though.
It's just, I'm not even necessarily saying she's a bad person. I'm saying she's a blank slate and she's not a progressive. Like she's just like going. Sorry.
Every time Emma claims that Anna isn't a progressive, or excuse me, Emma claims that Tulsi isn't a progressive, I'm like, bitch, you said that Warren was the second most progressive person in the race. Your opinion is irrelevant.
With the Rubin framing
throughout the entire interview.
So if you have strong progressive principles, you're not going to do that. She doesn't have them.
Like what you see? Click this.
Like what you see? No, nobody like that at all. Not at all. So, man, thank y'all for sitting through that with me. I mean, it was a good time. I told y'all I was gonna be fun. I'm not letting Anna and Emma destroy my great Tuesday. I've been having a great day, man. A great day. But my point is, the moral of this whole story is, yo, they got issues. Like they need to go see somebody. They need to go see somebody about this, in all seriousness, because the amount of projection, the amount of misdirection and lies, and like when you are listening to a interview, like they just played it, and you take the interview like you're quoting it and say something totally different. There's two different implications. When you're talking, like, say, if once again, like I said, the very first thing they did was Rubin and Tulsi, to be fair to Rubin, said Democratic candidates. And listen to what they said on the debate stage and what they were advocating for effectively. How did Anna turn that into, she said all progressives do this? Bruh, could you imagine being Anna's husband? Oh my God. How many times has Anna said something, or her husband said something, and then her husband, like, and she's arguing with him, is like, you said this. I said get wheat bread, babe. You said white. I remember. You said white bread. Remember you said white on white? Because we're both white. Remember you said that. You didn't say wheat. You never eat brown bread. That's a lie. That's basically what it would be like being married to Anna at this point. I'm convinced. Like, she's unhinged. I don't know how else to put it. She's literally unhinged. It's scary. The literal, and it's crazy because, you know, and this is something that like you kind of get when you are the supporter of, I was a Bernie supporter in 2015. I think everybody knows that, right? I used to work for Bernie, all that good stuff. Cool. The funniest part about being a Bernie supporter that I used to legitimately laugh at it was when everybody used to attack me for not supporting Hillary because I was a cultist. You Bernie people, y'all are just too much. You Bernie people, it's like, okay, what about it? You know, did you know this? Did you know that you can't win and da-da-da-da? Anytime that you are not following the popular opinion, you're always going to be smeared as a cultist or a stan or whatever. It's true. Bernie has stands too. Everybody. If you are still in the race right now, you better have some damn stands, to be honest with you. You ain't gonna get very far without them in politics, to be honest with you. But it's funny that they're like, you're gonna do whatever you can to defend Tulsi. Now, if it's an illegitimate claim, I am gonna do whatever I can to defend her. One, I endorsed her, why wouldn't I? But two, which is weird, right? Like, if I endorsed her, why can't I defend her? But two, if you are a frequenter of this channel, I critiqued Tulsi plenty of times. Just like I've critiqued Bernie. Never get any hate. I know I'm never called, it's funny because if I ever critique Bernie or Warren, I'm never called, or excuse me, if I ever critique Tulsi, I'm never called a Bernie stan. You're just a Bernie cultist. That's why you're trying to hold Bernie or Tulsi accountable. I'm never called that. But if I critique Tulsi or Bernie, I'm called a Tulsi cultist. If I critique Warren, I'm a Tulsi cultist. It's weird, right? Projection? Maybe. Oh, wait till y'all see what I got cooking up for Twitter soon too. I have a compilation of all of the recent, because this is, you know, it would be too hard to go all the way back, but every single sexist thing that I have found about Tulsi and references to her supporters, I have screenshotted all of them, and I will be posting all of them in a thread on Twitter within the next couple of weeks, because it's building up there. It's building up. It's about 20-30 screenshots so far. I don't catch y'all. I wish I'd have caught it in the very beginning, because it was worse back then. So I am going to post all of that on Twitter, because I'm kind of tired of the bullshit, y'all. I hate the sexism. I can't stand it. I can't stand the misogyny. I can't stand the chauvinism. I cannot, y'all. I have a single mother. My mother raised me. My grandmother bred me. And I have 3 little sisters who I would never let any male talk to like that. So you're not gonna sit here and pretend like a young woman who is very accomplished, like it ain't like she makes it pretty easy to support her, that, oh, if given, you know, the old white guy, no offense to Bernie, great candidate still, but it's like, oh, given the old white guy and the young pretty woman who are both well accomplished in their own rights, you have to want to have some type of sexual encounter with her. If you choose her over the old white guy, you couldn't possibly just, you know, support a young woman who is extremely accomplished and is, once again, objectively, the only person that's running that actually understands both jobs that, you know, you have to understand to be president. Like with Anna's sexist statement. Oh, just because Anna said some nice, or Tulsi said some nice things about you, huh? Okay, Jane has said nice things about me too. Nina has said nice things about me too. I had a one-on-one meeting with Bernie. Okay, but why has no statement like that ever been made? I wonder why. Oh, Bernie's the old white guy. Because when you can't actually attack policy, you have to attack the person. Isn't that right, Anna? Emma, isn't that right? You gotta deflect. You gotta attack the person. You gotta attack the supporters. Because let's be honest, once again, Anna, you should probably be thankful that Jane didn't let you interview Tulsi, because it probably would have been embarrassing. It was already embarrassing for you, and she didn't even have to talk to you directly. She got a lot of followers from that interview. Thank you very much, by the way. Took a lot of TYT's followers that interview. Oh man. Is there anything else? Nah, man. I think that's probably gonna wrap it up. So yeah, I had a lot of fun, guys. I had a lot of fun. Appreciate y'all sticking around for so long. I'm not gonna lie, I absolutely anticipated it taking this long, because like I said, I'm not gonna let them stress me out. I'm just gonna have fun with it. We gonna roll along and we gonna get it popping. And I have fun. Thanks for all the super chats, people. Make sure you subscribe if you have not. Make sure you follow me on rockfin.com, ROKFIN.com. And if you have a super chat but I'm not live, you can go to Q Bounty, QBOUNTI.com, and ask me the super chat there. And I will give you a video response. I'm actually about to respond to some right after this video. So make sure you go to QBounty.com and I will do a video about your question. Other than that, always remember, more than anything else, people, find your balance. Peace. Hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like that segment of Mikasa Sukasa. Also, you can help us upgrade the studio and take this show on the road to cover the on-the-ground politics that you love by clicking on that GoFundMe link in the description and donating literally anything. Anything helps. Also, you can follow us on Rockfin, on Twitter, and on Facebook as well. And hey, more than anything else, people, always remember, find your balance. Peace.